What's up, guys? Little Fro here. Gonna bring you guys some video. Don't really pay attention to the gameplay. It's probably not the best. I'm actually recording this before I do the gameplay, so I'm a little bit disorganized here. But so I figured while I have a little bit of time, I do my narration, and this is basically what I think about the Jacksonville Jaguars organization at the time being, and what I think they should do for the future. They obviously have not had the best season so far, and I know I did a video earlier this season, a couple weeks ago, like just showing my frustration. I got a lot of feedback on that, so I was really happy. And I know the trade deadline's coming up, and the first thing I think about is go after Tim Tebow. I'm not the biggest fan of Tim Tebow, but I know what he has. The Jets have clearly misused a former Heisman winner, and it's been rumored that with the upcoming trade deadline, Tebow could be finding a new home. Jacksonville was in the running before he went to New York, so I personally don't see a better location for him, and I think Jacksonville does have a good chance of getting him. Tebow has the ability to bring confidence to a locker room. He's obviously not the best quarterback, but he is a tremendous athlete. He has amazing work ethic, and he's just an overall good person. If Jacksonville can get him, that offense that'd be a good step up for their offense. Getting him into that role, like what he should have been in New York, needs to happen. Gadford has proven himself as a starter. Or enough as the starter, but adding a threat like Tebow could really boost the offense. You know, the rushing quarterback, basically what he should be doing in New York, I think he could do in Jacksonville. Obviously, the Jets have not done that with him. And to make things better for Tebow, he already has an amazingly huge fan base in Jacksonville, having played and won so many games for the Gators just a couple miles outside of Jacksonville. You know, so Tim Tebow would be a huge boost for this team, morally and athletically. So. Definitely go after Tim Tebow. It might be too good to be true, and it probably won't happen, but that's what I think so far. Another thing, fire Gene Smith. I think Shahid Khan or Shad Khan, however you pronounce his name, I think he's been pretty good for the Jacksonville fan base and the community. Believe it or not, I actually do like him. I think his heart is in the right place, and I really think that he does want to grow the Jaguars' name. That 60 Minutes crap, I don't really agree with that totally, but, that's just rich people being rich people. But overall, I do think he is trying to raise awareness for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He has scheduled games over in London. He's constantly doing things for the team. The thing he really needs to do is can Smith. Smith clearly does not have an eye for talent he once did, or if he ever did. I've never really liked any of his picks. Justin Blackmon will probably be the best pick he ever had. Definitely one of the best receivers to come out of the draft in some time, but he has yet to have a breakout game because Gabbard just simply hasn't had time to get the ball out to his receivers for the most part. He actually had a good game just a couple days ago against the Packers, or actually it was yesterday, throwing for like 300 yards. So that was actually a really good game, and Blackmon did have a good game himself. So if that can move forward, that actually might be a good pair, a good duo. The offensive line has been the issue for some time, and Smith has not drafted the players that fit, or the players that have the ability in this organization. Every single year, Smith has been the GM. The Jaguars have had a top 10 pick in the draft. In the last 4 years, it's been 8, 10, 10, and 5. With this many top players coming into the organization, it is clear that they aren't the right fit for this team, and I think Gene Smith, he's got his eye set on certain players, and even if they're right for this team or not, and clearly they haven't been. His players haven't worked out in this organization for the most part, and I think it's time to move on to GM. And another big thing is moving the franchise has been a huge story revolving this franchise for a couple years now. With the new stadium being built in LA, the Jaguars are among the top teams to move. I believe that the city can support the team, the fans are loyal, and I'm sure that the Jaguars can accumulate a few good seasons of improvement and show promise that the city will light up again in teal and black. I'm talking about Jacksonville, not LA. LA is one of the largest cities in the world, one of the most populated, but the NFL has failed there in the past. I'm not exactly sure the team would thrive any more there than they would already do in Jacksonville. So I'm not really in total agreement with any team exactly moving to LA, and I definitely don't want Jacksonville to move to LA, not because I'm a fan, but because I really think that Jacksonville hasn't really had the time to prove that they can, have that team. Earlier in the franchise, they were doing really well as a team. They made 11 playoff appearances already. They've only been around for like like 18 years, 16 years or something like that, and they've had 11 playoff appearances, so that's really not bad. I think they're just on a little bit of a dry spell. Every team goes through it, and I just think the Jaguars need to, have a couple seasons of improvement, and I think this city will be right back into where they were. Another big thing is the tarps, and if you're a Jaguars fan, you know the tarps. They've taunted at Everbank Field for years now. It pains me to see it, even in Madden. Selling tickets has been a continuous issue. The Jaguars have technically sold out every game this year and last. With the new blackout rules, the Jaguars have basically paid 34 cents on the dollar to buy the remaining tickets to prevent an NFL penalty. So in the eyes of the NFL, the Jaguars sell out. But in actuality, the Jaguars have lessened the capacity, and like I said, they buy all the remaining tickets, like the franchise does. And it's basically costing them money. I don't really know the last time the Jaguars actually sold out a game 100%, like meaning like every single ticket 100% bought by the public. And I think it's like 65,265 is capacity. I want to know, like, when the last time 67,265 people actually bought those tickets and it wasn't the franchise helping. And if you know, please comment on that, because I actually do want to know. I've looked around a lot, and I really can't find an answer for that. And if you know any more on this topic, please let me know in the comments, because that's pretty much the extent of what I know on this. I'm not the guru of, the NFL penalties and rules and all that kind of crap. Another one, I thought this year might be a little different than last year. It has turned out that they have only been a few changes. At this point last year, the Jags were 2-5. Blaine Gabbert had only 800 yards passing, 4 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. So far this year, Gabbert has improved. Through 7 games, he has 1,209 yards, 7 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Given that Blaine Gabbert didn't start the first 2 games last year, he has improved a lot since last year. I think he can be a good quarterback. Not great, but definitely good. The offense is still struggling as the last-ranked offense, the same as last year. They've just been terrible. The defense has been solid, but the stats don't compare. The Jaguars' defense was surprisingly good last year, and they're finishing 5th in the league in overall defense. This year, things have changed. The players haven't had much. The players haven't much, but they are spending too much time on the field. The offense can't seem to stay on the field long enough to get the defense rested. That's a huge problem. The offense has to start getting things going on the ground, getting things going through the air, get some productivity on the offense so the defense can get rested and stop the other team. To me, I think a top 3 draft pick looks to be in the Jaguars' future. At 1-6 so far, Carolina and Kansas City are also 1-6. So, I think one of these 3 teams might get the top 3 picks. Things can certainly change, however. Jacksonville played the Packers surprisingly well and have competed in 3 of their 6 losses. The Jaguars are also statistically solid to start the game, having been tied with the Bears a couple weeks ago at the half. Where they ended up losing 41-3, and they actually had a 17-3 lead last week against the Raiders, and 2 games that they ultimately lost. And then we all know about the first game against Minnesota, which Jaguars actually came back. And another one, Rashad Jennings is very capable of filling in for MJD. That was the plan from the start of the season. While MJD was on holdout, MJD came back and he was productive. He did what he could. But Jennings looks promising and still does. Jones-Drew's injury does not, however, hurt. Jones-Drew's injury does, however, hurt this already very troubled offense. He has been a top rusher for the last couple of years, and he has been a consistent bright spot on the Jaguars. As the face of the franchise, the Jaguars really need him to get back, and as the franchise and all of us fans are really hoping he has a speedy and really good recovery. We all want him back. So that's pretty much what I got so far, what I'm thinking about the Jaguars organization. Comment what you guys think. I really want to hear from you, all you other Jaguars fans. I know you don't really have much to talk about, but I want to hear what you guys are thinking so far this year. I got to get really turnout from my video a couple weeks ago, Jacksonville Jaguars frustration. I'll link that in the video. So let me know what you guys are thinking. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed what I talked about. I'm really trying to grow my channel, so please spread the word. I've been applying for partnerships or directorships. I don't think I'm really quite ready for a partnership, but a directorship is definitely possible. So I'm just trying to, boost my audience a little bit. So please help me out, guys. A like and subscribe goes a long way. So that's all I got today. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it, and peace out.
Gets the sack, and that just kills the time man. Scanning the field, taking off, and the quarterback will bail out on this play and slide feet first.